Make some noise for your host, Kid Copious.
What up, perps? Kid Copious, back in the bunker. Purple State Party, representing America, the center, common sense. That was not as good as the first one. This is my second take, man. I just did 27 minutes in this hot-ass studio, only to find out that for some reason the recording had stopped. I don't know why, I don't know how, and I still can't adjust stuff in a mirrored image. I'm horrible at this. Oh, God, why would anybody take advice from this guy? All right, whatever. That's sweating as hell up there, man. It's hot here in California, man. Which means all the concert tickets that I have are again in jeopardy. You see the big smile. I'm actually smiling sarcastically inside, you know? Just started the stopwatch, man. But Larry Elder's throwing his hat in the ring, and I really like his campaign slogan, because fuck this shit. Yeah, best campaign slogan. I don't know. We've got a lot of different candidates right now, and I'm hoping we coalesce behind somebody. Because, you know, the theme of tonight sort of is we can't win as a group if we fight as two groups. And we can't have two groups fighting the GOP, you know. And that's exactly what's happening nowadays. You know, you have the anti-Trumpers and the Trumpers. And that's fine. I mean, you know, Trump won me over. I didn't vote for him the first time around. But he won me over because he sort of acted outside of the red and the blue a little bit there. You know, he was a maverick. And, you know, we need mavericks. God, I'm a fucking mess, man. Anyhow, buried in the back, you know, way down deep in Yahoo, I found that Cuomo's facing some, you know, questioning over some harassment probes. And, you know, we wonder why we had a problem with COVID. And they've had a problem with it worldwide. And for all I know, the problem of America is the problem worldwide, too. And that's that we have a media that's apparently now my razor has wanted to start. Which I don't really know why that's there. But that's super inconvenient, guys. Thanks. Good work. Yeah, okay. It's been one of those nights, man. You know, I'm not giving up. It's, you know, almost 10 o'clock on a Saturday night. And I want this posted by 3 on Sunday. And I'm going to do it. But anyhow, before we were so rudely interrupted there, I don't know what I'm going to do with that. We're going to see. It's going to be a mystery to you and me how I solved that problem that just happened. But, you know, the media for 10 years has, at least 10 years now, has been openly fighting for one side. And one side only. And that's fine. I understand that they hold political views that you side with. But where's the common sense in all this? You know, stripping away women's abilities to compete by allowing transgender athletes, you know, co-signing on things that men can get pregnant, men can menstruate, men can breastfeed. They can't. I don't know why we just run around indulging fantasies when we should be focusing on these corrupt leaders like Cuomo or Newsom, that don't do anything, that waste our money, that blow millions and billions of dollars on consultants and all kinds of shit that never actually benefits anybody. You know? That's what they do. They set up these giant government-run programs where everybody gets fancy chairs and, you know, double monitors that are suspended on really cool-looking steel structures. And nothing gets done. The people on the ground aren't given the tools that they need. All the money's been spent on a fancy office building. You know? And it's that the media is the one that's behind that because they're not calling these people out. You know? And I'm kind of tired of both sides. And that's why I started Purple and I got sidetracked. But, you know, we've got Republicans out there that are trying to get their publicity, their pub and their clicks of being anti-vax. But these are the same people who are anti-vax pre-pandemic, and now they're anti-vax, and we're not getting any answers because who the fuck do we trust? Who do we trust? The White House? Are you kidding me? That's a career politician of 43 years, 43 plus years. That is a machine at work there, man. Here in California, Democrats only do what the rich donors and lobbyists tell them to do. They don't stray. They don't speak out. I mean, think about it. Like, they're going to take the mayor of LA and make him the ambassador to India. Like, what? What? Huh? The guy can't even run a fucking city. He calls the police officers killers. He defunds the police. He stabs Jackie Lacey in the back. And his reward is to get the ambassadorship to India. Get him out of LA where they hate him. Go make him go somewhere else because we could use this guy. Oh my God, man. You have to see that. It's just a group. It's just a money-making group over there. You know, and they're weaponizing people now to the point of this insanity that happened. My brother and I have been going back and forth about stuff, and, you know, he was saying, oh, you know, he told me I shouldn't blame Obama. I can't blame Obama because he's not president anymore. But he wants to blame Trump all day long, and he calls him fat man all the time. And so I'm hitting back with just stupid shit like I do, like, oh, I'd rather be fat than senile. Rather be orange man than grandpa. Whatever, you know. And I'm sending him things that Trump and the Republicans did, lifting 1 million people out of poverty, renegotiating EU deals, renegotiating lobster tariffs in Japan, you know, those types of things. And he's getting pissed. And but then around 24 hours after I got my second vaccine shot, I got really sick. I mean, I had fever, all that, you know. I was men turning into such babies. I'm like, I think I'm dying here. I was saying goodbye to my wife and my kid. And my brother just keeps calling and texting and whatever. And I'm like, dude, I'm really sick, man. It's like, I had my vaccine 24 hours ago and I'm sick. And he's like, bullshit. And he starts sending me all these numbers on, oh, how many people are affected. And she's literally calling me out on these numbers and saying that, oh, it's not something wrong with the shot. It can't be something wrong with the shot. But if it is, as you can see here, I drank a 12-pack after the vaccine. By the way, your president developed is this vaccine, so if you're sick, blame it on him. Oh, okay, so I should blame it on Trump. So I'm sick and lying there sweating, chills, all of that. And he's going to tell me to blame it on Trump. I don't know of a better example than living rent-free in somebody's head than that. You know? Tell me you're brainwashed without telling me you're brainwashed. Wow. Well, as you can see, I wasn't very happy about it. I haven't talked to him. That happens all the time, but whatever. But that's how it is, man. Again, we're not going to win as a group if we fight as two groups. And that's what they want. Think about it. That's why they weaponize people. That's why the media just is, oh, God, and both sides are doing it to us with lies. You really think some of the Republican politicians out there that are stretching truths and lying, you don't think they're playing the same game? They're playing the same game, man. We got to vote purple until red and blue is a dust cloud in history. That's what it's all about, because they're playing us, man. They're fucking playing us. And that's the kind of shit that comes out. You know? Facebook's mad. You know, they don't like taking the blame for misinformation. But they're part of this media that lies and slants and twists and turns. They do everything with these political agendas nowadays, man. And, you know, we just play right into it. I don't understand. I don't get how people don't see that, like, CNN or Fox News is so one-sided. And red and blue are the people who are profiting. Nobody in the middle. The moderates on both sides are just being washed away by this shit now. And it's not working. You know? I mean, before the pandemic, you know, if it wasn't for COVID, I truly believe that Trump would still be president. because he was doing a really good job. Yeah, it wasn't perfect, but he was doing a good job economy-wise. Everybody was doing well. People were doing better. Things were getting done. You know? Might not have some of this nonsense. I'm going to get back to Trump in a second here, but I'm trying to keep myself on track. It is really hot, man. I work out in the sun about half a day, about 4 hours or so every day at least. And, man, I'm telling you, it's hot right now. Fuck Apple for that pregnant man emoji. See, this is what I was talking about earlier. You know, the pro-woman left is just, men can get pregnant. All right. So one thing I think Trump might have done is he may have used what's going on, as you can see here from Bronco. There is protesters in Cuba. Of course, the media's backed off a little bit. You know, they decided, you know, if we show too much of this and Americans and it's a socialist country and, ooh, how do we play this? This might make Biden look bad if he doesn't do anything. You know, and I think Trump may have rushed it. He may have rushed that island. Because I'll tell you something. China took Hong Kong. They want to take Taiwan. The Taliban, they're going to take Afghanistan. Russia's going to take Ukraine. Let's take Cuba. Seriously. How hard would that be? Our air power alone would shut down any of their things like tanks, planes, anything that they may have. I have no idea what they have over there. They probably don't have the latest and greatest from the Soviet Union. They probably have a lot of World War II era stuff, like their cars. You know, we take a lot of that stuff out. A lot of the army then surrenders. We kick all of the assholes out of the country, lock them up somewhere, you know, put them in exile somewhere, whatever we have to do. You know, if we have to, I don't care. We could take it as a territory. We could set them free. And once the American economy gets turned loose in that place, things will change pretty rapidly. There'll be growth. There'll be a lot of investment, believe me. Companies will be rushing down there to build resorts. They'll build employee housing, infrastructure, all that stuff, man. So maybe what we do is in 2022, instead of sending like millions of dollars to like Pakistan for gender studies or, you know, send Egypt a whole bunch of aid or whoever else a whole bunch of aid, don't really fucking need it. You know, before we waste a bunch of money on dumb shit like trying to put in windmills instead of nuclear reactors. You know, before we go all climate change, which we were doing a very good job of, by the way, before we rejoined the Paris Accord. Instead of giving money to the Paris Accord and paying NATO fees when other people don't pay NATO fees, let's put the largest portion of our budget that we can into Cuba. Let's give them all the bullshit green money and all the foreign aid. We'll help out the countries that honestly need it, but we're not going to give money for gender studies to Pakistan. All right, those days are numbered. We're not going to like pay off a bunch of democratic bad policy states, debts. We're not going to pay for a bunch of like, you know, upgrading seats at Carnegie Hall. No. Fuck all that. No. We're just going to sink it all into Cuba. Let's do that. Let's give Americans a whole new place to live. Well, let's do that. Why not? Let's just fix up fucking Cuba. And then we can give a middle finger to the rest of the world. You know? Because, you know, we got crazy AOC saying end the embargoes because it hurts the people. No, the government's going to take all the money, you dingbat. We have to get rid of the government. You're a dingbat. You should know that. You really should. But they're closing their eyes to it. They pretend that it's not even going on. Instead of bum rushing it and making it a glorious new territory along with Guam, you know, Puerto Rico, the U.S. Virgin Islands. If I forgot any names, I'm sorry, but it is hot in here. I'm losing my marbles. I have wanted to see a free Cuba for so long, man. I remember Scarface, man. I remember reading about Bay of Pigs, the missile crisis. It's time to make that baby ours, man. Yeah, that should be the slogan. China take Hong Kong, we take a Cuba. How about that? How about we all get Cuban cigars? Cuban rum. Huh? All the classic cars they've been repairing down there, dude. Oh, man, that place is a paradise. That used to be a paradise. The rest of the world still is using it. But all that money is funneled into a bunch of assholes who run the government. We need to kick those assholes out, man. Give the people what they want. Just spend billions of dollars on Cuba. Why not? Why not? All the money we've been splashing around the world, and shit ain't changed over there. Shit ain't changed there. It ain't changed there. We got a chance to change Cuba. We could remold that country, man, and make it American. How awesome would that be, man? If Cuba was a territory. Would you rather live in Cuba or Oregon? Well, maybe I should besmirch Oregon, Portland, or Seattle, or Los Angeles, or New York, or Chicago, or Minneapolis. Fuck that. You could live in Havana. Come on, son. Property development down there. I mean, it's only like 85 miles off the coast. Dude, we're Americans, man. We could build a fucking road 85 miles, man. We could do it if we wanted to. But nah, these people, they want to make it a political game, you know? It's not real communism because it's falling apart. They want to distance themselves from the fact that it's socialist. Biden warns Cubans not to come here for freedom as he's getting rid of that. He did warn them not to come. But they just all fucking get on boats at this point, dude. I mean, we have a chance. We have a chance to restore Cuba to its former glory. And if Biden does it, dude, I'll be the first one to congratulate him. But I don't think he will because he's a fucking coward. CNN says Cuban protests likely due to climate change. They were trying to say it was COVID. They're starving over there until totalitarian governments take all the good shit for themselves. And that's, one of the reasons why I'm bringing it up, because I'm surprised it's not being discussed more. I'm really surprised that we don't see the opportunity that we have to, hey, fair's fair, man. Other countries are taking territories. Why shouldn't we? Democrat governors are afraid Cuban desire for freedom could spread to the United States. Yeah, they're not sure how they're going to vote. But you know what? Hey, man, you're all for voting rights, so let's get them on board, man. I'm willing to spin the wheel. I mean, put your money where your mouth is, man. You say that you're for people. You say that you're for freedom and equity and equality and all that shit that you ramble your miles about. How about freedom for Cuba? How about the Cubans? They're right there. They're right off the coast. It's not like we have to invade a country to get there. It's not like we even have to fight a war, man. All we have to do is take out a few of their old ass fucking tanks and planes. Believe me, even soldiers in Cuba know that becoming a territory here is a lot better. Leftists fear communism failing all the time is making communism look bad. Yeah, that's one of the reasons, because they want one of those sort of like state-controlled countries like Cuba. That's what the Democrats and the media think will work, because the media thinks that they're going to get to retain their place of power. But the media don't realize that when the politicians take absolute power, they often remake the media. Bernie Sanders heads to Cuba to tell protesters to be more grateful for their excellent social programs. Yeah, they probably got a lot of free shit over there, You know what else is free? Everything that's in a garbage can on garbage day. If the government's giving you nothing, the fact that the government's giving it to you is not a bonus. Cuban protesters wave a notorious symbol of hate. See, again, that's something that we could do. We could show people around the world what our flag really stands for. Turn Cuba around. Make it a beautiful jewel again. I mean, it's gorgeous. Give it its full due. But don't allow it to be run by an asshole. We don't need an asshole down there. Other countries are a bit trickier. But Cuba's an easy one, man. All right. So, this is a great example that I found of how the media is working nowadays. This comes from The Root. This fucking asshole wrote this thing. And he first he leads it off by saying there's always going to be a rift between black people and police officers. And then he got tased because he did not immediately bend to the, what was it? Bend to the will of the officers. Yeah. Long story short here, I'm going to leave some of this up, but he paid for a ticket on the subway. He opened a door to allow an acquaintance to come through free. The police intervened. They said that guy didn't pay. He said, I paid, but they were talking about the other guy. The other guy eventually paid. But this other guy, the guy who opened the door, he starts posturing, lifts up his shirt. I guess he's got "fuck the police" tattooed on his back. Starts getting really aggressive about the whole thing. And they ended up tasing him. They didn't shoot him. They just tased him. They asked him to get off the train because you can't leave somebody who's that agitated on a train full of people. But, they clearly tried to write the article to make it out like the police had done something wrong. Another one was this one about the NYPD has this big truck that has video games, like Xboxes and PlayStation, Switches, things like that. You go in, you play with the police. It's a community outreach program. And the media says that it's a constant reminder of the police state. Look, they live in shitty areas. I mean, these guys attacked a man with a cinder block. They lifted a brick above their head, threw it at him, and then attacked him and stole his money. This one right here, 83-year-old man, just trying to get off the bus, fractured face. That was in the same time period as they're sitting there saying, oh, the police were just trying to make this guy submit. No, they weren't. He was acting the fool and got tased. Well, what's the problem? Sounds exactly what you want. Don't shoot him. They didn't shoot him. They talk about critical race theory a lot right now, and it's really bad. The situation here in Baltimore, 41% of high school students earn below a 1.0 for the first 3 quarters. And a lot of that's that distance learning shit. But, and I wanted to know who was to blame. The mayor is a Democrat, but the governor is a Republican. Democrats control most of that state. So, I just want to know who I'm calling out there. But they're the ones calling for CRT, the people who run that state. Instead of worrying about basic things. See, they're forgetting that knowing how to add and to read and write and to speak, fill out a resume, do the things that are necessary to get through life are not less important than critical race theory. See, to them, critical race theory is everything. Oh, we got to do this. Because all it is, hey, look over here. Don't look over there. That's what they want. They would rather teach a black kid that he will be oppressed because of a white kid than to teach them how to read and write. Isn't that fabulous? Because at the end of the day, they don't give a shit if they're dumb. Just vote Democrat. That's the problem that I see. They're not dealing with the common sense issues. They're dealing with critical race theories. I mean, our own governor is paying reparations. That's what he wants to do. He wants to pay reparations, and now he wants to give out living wages. Instead of fixing things in this state that are broken, instead of getting people back to work, they want to figure out ways to just give people money to buy votes. I understand. Some states, they may owe a great debt to slavery. California is not one of them. People may have brought slaves here, but California itself is a free state. Okay? But it's just, hey, look over here, don't look over there. We want to teach an honest history. You guys aren't even teaching history. Okay? These people have a 1.0? Come on. Focus on what's important. I'm going to get into the top ones here. Larry Elder doing a Bronco here. Of course, Larry Elder to run for California governor. Hunter Biden gets $500,000 for his paintings sold to anonymous customers. What would Don Jr. get for his? 15 to 20? I'm not sure I got where he was going with this one, but I just had to include it because I like the crackhead Hunter so much. Oh my God. So stupid, dude. You don't see the corruption? I mean, you're fine with the corruption because it's from your side? I mean, is that what this is? I don't know. BLM changes names to Black and Brown Lives Matter unless they are being oppressed by communists. Yeah, you know, I don't know why people think that a true socialist government would work. You know, because when you see communism in action, like in Cuba, you see what's wrong, man. They're starving. You really want to live in a country where you're starved? Okay. Scientists warn that within 6 months, humanity will run out of things to call racist. And that is so sad. That even though the Babylon Bee is a parody site, what they're saying smells like the truth. You know? And I hope we can get back to being able to laugh about things. You know, there's a guy on Twitter, Miles Commodore, and he's political and he's pop culture. He throws out a lot of things about old TV shows and movies and do you remember this, do you remember that type of things. And he posted today The White Shadow, which is about a white basketball coach who goes to an inner city to teach the basketball team. He's a teacher. I forgot what subject he taught, but he was the coach of the basketball team. And the basketball team was diverse, mostly lower, middle class, poor, one of the shows that had one of everybody on it. And, I commented that, of course I remember that show. It's the show that taught me that beneath our skin, we are all human. And The Jeffersons, another show he always talks about. And he basically says the same thing that I do, that back then we laughed at our differences, not in a mean way necessarily. I mean, sometimes George or Archie Bunker on All in the Family would say something mean, but it was being played for comedy for the most part. And, for the most part, you got the idea that the things that they were saying that were like, ooh, weren't right, but we were able to laugh about it. And that's what made it as I went through life, made me comfortable around people of different backgrounds, was that I could joke. I can make jokes, and I can make jokes about white people and jokes about black people, and then people would be like, oh my God, like he doesn't seem to care, And I've been the only white guy in the room before, man. I didn't care. I made friends because people realized, oh, he's a funny guy. But he's taken and given and taken. But now it's just like, boom, shut down the second you say anything controversial. Any joke, anything that could be even remotely construed as possibly offensive. Cancel culture. And it's only going to drive people apart. And finding all new things to worry about, like whether or not men can breastfeed or pronouns. I saw that on my Instagram thing. Pronouns. What should I put? Should I joke about it? Would that be offensive? I just left it blank because it's just, man, we don't need to make the world more confusing. It doesn't help. It doesn't bring people together. And that's, you're starting to see it. They don't want us to come together. They want to keep us divided. The media does, because then they know which side to market to. The political groups do. They can fight over a few scraps in the middle, but they're all going to the sides. And you see that more and more, the way they push the racial divide. Whenever a white lady loses her shit, they make sure they show that, right? And then whenever there's a hate crime, it seems to be a black guy. All those articles I talked about earlier from New York, all were black perpetrators. The media makes sure. Did you know that a majority of anti-Asian attacks are from white people? I didn't. I looked it up, and there it was, 63%. But all they show you on TV, for the most part, is black people. Because they need us divided. Right here, this is why. Bronco illustrates it perfectly. Racism in America in intensive care. The Democrats trying to keep it revived. Yeah. Well, you could tell me all about the white supremacists in America. Sure, there's some that suggest, but guess what? Shrinking. Our tolerance of hatred But everything being labeled racism only furthers the divide. Jokes are not hateful. Jokes are jokes. They're meant to be funny. You know? They're meant to be funny, but we're not allowed to make those jokes. And they're doing it on purpose because separate, we can be controlled, but together, we can fight back. Copious out. Whew. It's hot in here.